Jade Headingley, I don't know, any other shade of green you want. It finished Toronto 10, Castleford 28, having been 22-4 to Cass at half-time, in front of 19,700 people, refereed by the singular Mr. James Child. Now, in terms of team tackle team stats, we only have an incomplete stats because 2 Toronto players missing, one of them being Sonny Bill Williams. Now, sorry, he's missing in the statistics. I've got to make that.
We can add in his three handling errors. We know they happened, but we can't fill in all the other gaps. So we haven't got team stats on this one.
In terms of that winning Castleford side, Greg Eden, not Eden Hazard, scoring 1 try, 161 metres and 2 clean breaks. Peter Matiutai, 1 try, 139 metres. Young Jake Truman, 133 metres, 3 clean breaks. And Nathan Massey, running for 128 metres. In terms of the losing Toronto Wolfpack, Hakeem Maludi making 1 try, 1 try assist, 5 tackle busts, 197 metres, 2 clean breaks and 3 offloads. John Wilkin, making 48 tackles and 11 of those from marker. Liam Kay, 1 try, 128 metres, 2 clean breaks and about 3 missed balls. And Ricky Latelli, 10 tackle busts and 111 metres.
Yeah, he looked every bit the player as advertised, and Ricky Latelli, he was impressive. Both centres were for the Wolfpack. In terms of the fan views, we start with POB 1976. He said, good performance from Castleford to take the points over Toronto. Wouldn't have realised SBW was paying, apart from Sky not shutting up about him.
Paul Chamberlain said, I haven't been so simultaneously excited and disappointed on the same day since my wedding. Toronto were as flabby and loose around the middle as Gemma Collins. So it's hard really to gauge the quality of the Tigers, although the halfbacks went reasonably well. Moneyball Williams looked like a ringer to me, but early days. Wolfpack immediately favourites to go down on that performance. Oh, and love me some Maludi.
Sorry, the Gemma Collins line. We've got an episode title there. Carsten said, the puppy protection time is over. Toronto's defence in the first half was on championship level and they dropped the ball more than Sid tweets about Toronto's failures. Cass looked pretty good, but their kicking game is worrying. Second half was a grind, in my opinion. Yeah, 6-all in the second half, so grind, yeah.
Oh, at Sydney Kidney 4, I would say welcome, but his opinion is Money Bill Williams has hands like Jeremy Beadle. Is that okay? And the team had jet lag flying from Manchester.
Genghis Campbell said, welcome to the big leagues. Horrible first half, 16 handling errors in total for the game. Too lateral and adventurous, I think. Second half better. Think we'll be better when we get used to the speed of the ruck and the bigger, faster Super League players. Hakeem Maludi was my Toronto Wolfpack player of the game. Nice to see Sidlow back in full force. Sticking with my mid-table mediocrity prediction for now.
The Wakey White says, thought Toronto played in the right way. Shame about SPW's damp squib debut, but it was always likely to happen after. Thought Cass were okay, but they didn't need to do much for the win. Still think Toronto will struggle when they start accumulating knocks.
Fit Sister said, my Robbie will be happy with that. He's got the looks of SBW and the win as well. Other than some acrobatics didn't look like the Wolfpack were ever at the races. There's improvement in both sides, who I think will both end mid-table. On the looks side, Toronto edge it though.
And Fatboy Rob. Funny how these two come straight up.
Honestly, Fatboy Rob was too drunk to be submitting a fake fan review. He was sat in my car when he submitted this fan review, so I know that for a fact.
Toronto found out what it's like not playing Batley. SBW knocked on 2 out of the first 3 times he touched out the ball. Yeah, he definitely was drunk. Yeah. He's dog shit, poo emoji. Cass were awesome and clearly going to piss the league. Yeah, he was pissed. Rovers might stay up after all. PS leads a shit.
He was laughing to himself the whole time he was typing that out. He was laughing so much that he went back to put the emoji in. Mark W said, I had a feeling before the game Toronto might sneak this. In the end, it felt like they let the occasion get to them and tried to do too much at the expense of the basics. Fewer errors and a bit more composure, and they'll be competitive.
Stuart Wood said, catastrophic technology failure meant I only saw the last 5 minutes. Fair to say Cass cheated when I wasn't looking.
It stands up to scrutiny, that, Stuart.
Yep. Move on.
Tom Andrews said, so the Wolfpack show their true colours as the Paw Patrol. Have to feel sorry for SBW. As shit as he was, he's played in several World Cup finals, and now the best player he's playing with is Hakeem Maludi. Martin Simpson says, first Super League points by Toronto's first player, but nerves and errors got the better of them. With most of last year's championship team and only one pre-season game, it's going to take time for them to get up to speed. A better second half led to a full-length try of their own, but Castleford had taken their foot off the gas. The fans and owner at the Toronto screening party left upbeat despite a rare loss. Joshua's granddad said, one thing proven, Toronto are lacking in quality. Lots of journeymen and the superstar Sonny Bill, who was no match for Cass, who could have racked up a bigger win. Truman terrified the Pack's defence. Wilkins stealing a living and needs to go back being the pretty boy on the Beeb.
Well, yeah, or, phoning into LBC. All approaches are valid. Brian Davies says, really enjoyed the whole event. Both sides were a bit scratchy in attack, which is understandable. Toronto, however, looked way off the standard physically. Cass were able to run over the top of them with ease. Looked better when SBW went in the middle, as Cass then had to go down the sides to avoid him. They'll get better, but time will be against them to avoid the drop.
So, I mean, I was there, and I think the weather being so dry and calm for this game probably wasn't what we were thinking might be. If it was a bit like with that pitch already looking like a pudding, if it had rained during that game, I think Toronto might have stood a bit more of a chance, wouldn't they, of grinding something out with their various ways. Yeah. One admin bit to touch on before you talk us through this one, Tim, is that Peter Matautia got a 2-match penalty notice for a grade B dangerous contact for a late tackle on John Wilkin that I didn't notice during the game, but I also didn't notice Conrad Hurrell in the next game getting concussed. So I was obviously, and I wasn't even drunk or anything, I was driving, but I obviously wasn't paying great attention to everything that was going on off the ball, and this clearly was off the ball, like several seconds off the ball. It was late and it was shouldery, so I think fair enough.
Yeah, my own take on it is I quite enjoyed having this on a Sunday afternoon. It was quite enjoyable. Wasn't the greatest game in terms of execution and skill level, but that kind of made it part of the fun. The drop ball, the passes that went too far backwards. It was, it was just like watching League One in some respects. But it was just, it was an enjoyable game, and that flashes from Maludi showing that he has got the skill. SPW clearly not conditioned to the right level yet, but there's still enough there that you think once he gets settled in and in the groove, he's going to be, some player. But what did you think?
I thought he was unlucky on his knock-ons because part of it was him somehow trying to play some sort of union line-out role, but they kind of were trying to make stuff happen. Rather than anything else. But, Toronto started really well, didn't they? They got that first try, and if that McCrone very speculative pass had gone to hand to a player running rather than Maludi not being able to quite reach for it, there was a try on there as well, and they would have been 8 or 10 nil up, or 6 or 10 nil up, or whatever it would have been. So I think they could take some heart from the fact that early on in the game they were the match of Cass, and Cass got that lucky breakaway, but really Cass were a far better quality side overall, running with much more depth and precision, and Toronto just didn't quite have the capacity to number up in defence very well, and I think that's a bit worrying that most of that team have played together for 2 or 3 years, and that was a problem. But at the same time, they're obviously having to step up a level. It'll take time to adjust. I don't think they'll get 20 odd put on them every week.
Yeah. Right, moving on to game 2 of the doubleheader.
Did you not have any highlight moments to pick out or star men? You don't want to talk about Greg Eden, do you? That's what it was.
Yeah, Shenton. He was the star man. Yeah, or Eden Hazard, whichever one it was.
Okay, we'll move on to the last game then. It was Leeds versus Hull FC, and the final score was 30 points to 4 to the visitors. It was 16-0 at half-time. 19,700 again. Ben Failer was the referee. Liggy Sow was missing from the Super League site stats, so we don't have complete team stats. We're just going to do individuals. Tavita Satai, 6 tackle bus, 136 metres, 3 successful offloads. Andre Savelio, 2 try assists, 6 tackle bus, 119 metres. Carlos Tuimavave, 1 try, 6 tackle bus and 112 metres. And Josh Griffin, 8 tackle bus and 186 metres. For Leeds, some really solid defensive efforts, or certainly really effort. What's the word I'm looking for? Really relentless defensive efforts. Cameron Smith, 61 tackles, 11 marker tackles. Reece Martin, 43 tackles, 10 marker tackles. Adam Cuthbertson, 40 tackles, 11 marker tackles. And then Jack Walker, 1 try assist, 102 metres, and oh so close to having a second try assist.
Yeah. So Carsten got in touch from the future to say, Leeds are shit again, and even the Sky had to cry in the second half because of the performance. Now Largo is on fire, even in defence. I still don't see Connor as 5'8", and he didn't as 5'8", not as 5'8". It's probably a little bit taller than that.
Yeah. Do you know on Wikipedia Danny Bruff's 7'2"?
And that proves, kids, Wikipedia isn't always right. To sum it all up, Leeds in crisis and Hull look good.
Fatboy Rob said, fucking hilarious. Leeds are still wank. My favourite part was when Judas didn't make touch. Shitball bastard.
Mark W says, I'm not saying Agar isn't a super coach, but you have to ask the questions of a man who goes in after that first half and decides a wardrobe change is the best way forward.
It helps us, I tell you. I could actually tell who was who. Page said, good first match of the season. Thought Savelio had a great match and made a good impact when he came off the bench. New boys look good. Considering we had no Houghton, someone else. Who's Oof? Anyway, no Fanua or Houghton. The season...
Kelly, Fanua or Houghton.
Yeah. Looks bright. Jamie Shaw, on the other hand, needs to shave that moustache off. That, across the board, anyone with one. As for Leeds, apart from Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs, as for Leeds, the Richard Agar effect seems to be continuing. Roll on Derby Day Friday. You worried yet, Tom?
Paul Wilson at PMW777 says, new season, but Leeds still stuck in the last one. Well, they still suck as well. With no sign of improvement. Yet again, not ready to start the season. We switched one solid performer in Merrin for another in Pryor. Traded one penalty magnet for another in Mellor, but with none of the creativity of Ferris. Blumenau. And watching Shaw and Walker is night and day. Only round one, but think I can see a gap between the top 5 or 6 and the rest.
Tom Andrews said, so leave work knowing full well they have won as a super fan who attends 2 games a year came to find me to tell me. Then make it home to Paige to find her rewatching it about 30 minutes after it had finished. Has anyone mentioned they have... What has gone on with these fan reviews? Anyway, they have no Howard or Fanua.
It's Albert Kelly that
I roll.
Drop out on.
Weird.
Dr. Bob Phillips says, oh dear, the fact I was working through most of the game made it just a half hour of despair as the skills of 2017 returned. I would say the only way is up, but we could get even fewer points.
You won in 2017, didn't they?
Yeah.
Always in Our Shadow said, no Kelly or Houghton, no Fanua, no Swift, no problem. Unlike Leeds, no fucking idea.
Joshua's granddad says, typical Leeds weather, but didn't affect hello. We're back to... I thought we did so well on his first review. Didn't affect an excellent FC performance. 1-17 turned up and gave it all. Ratu run for loss.
Carlos, they call it.
Carlos try sublime, as was defensive effort to stop Handley. Given players still to come in the season, looks promising.
Wakey White said, big fan of these doubleheaders, what a Sunday. Hull's pack was just in total control of the middle and Leeds got repeatedly penalised for trying to deal with them. Connor and co had a lot of fun, downright